Hello there, welcome back. I'm Little Cupcake here, and we're picking up where we left off with just this bit of file that we had here. Let's just shrink this down, get it out of the way. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a creative tab. And the way we do this is we add a public static creative tabs. And we'll just call this your creative tab. Is equal to a new creative tabs, or rather, do we do it that way? Yeah, we do new your creative tab, and this bit here is a variable. You can actually change that to whatever you want it to be, and we're going to go and import this. That imported the creative tabs. Now we need to create a creative tab, and we can't even change, the majority of the stuff in here. That's fine. We don't really need to. It just extends creative tabs, and we want to add the constructor, the one with the string in it. And this is sort of important. Not terribly. You can actually just add it in later. But anyways, we'll leave this alone for the moment. And we can just save all to watch this clear up. Yep, watch both of these clear up. And, oh, whoops, I don't even know what that's doing. I did the tutorials a little out of order, so I'm actually just re-recording. In case you were curious what that was all about. So now you have this. You have a... Why is it saying you need a new constructor? In either case, what you need to do is go in and write creative. Actually, I might know what the problem is. Nope. Anyways, we're gonna go in here. I'm not gonna fix that right now. We're gonna set this to creative tabs dot get next ID right there. This first thing is the first variable, the parameter 1, par 1, and that is the tab's number, ID number. And you'll want to use this. This just grabs the next available one. So yeah, and the string here is just the string that will be called. So your creative tab for the thing over here. Let's just save all of these at the moment. See if that clears up that error, which it seems to have. Yep, good. So now you have a creative tab. That's wonderful. Except for your creative tab doesn't have a name. Oh no. So what we need to do is make a public void. I think this goes in here. My mistake, it's not a void, it's a string, public string get translated. Is it going to pop up? Well, anyways, tab name, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check that. So close. Tab label. Alright, public string tab label. And we're going to want to have return. I'm not even entirely sure those parentheses are necessary, but we're going to return a name, and this is going to be the name of your tab. And so I would just have it to be, or have it be your mod's name or something, your name maybe, just something to call it by. And why is this? Oh, that shouldn't be. That shouldn't be working that way. It should work like this. I think it might be in the wrong spot, And indeed, I was wrong again. It is in the wrong spot. So I'm just going to copy and paste that. It actually needs to go outside of the public, your creative tab. Okay, so we'll do that. that gives us this, our name, and ooh, that's not what I wanted to do. What we'll want to do now is also add in at side only, and this is going to give us our block, or whichever we decide to use, whatever we decide to use as the image on the tab will be from this. And so we have that at side only, the client side. We want to get, oh, it needs one more thing. It needs item index. Let me check. All right, it needs a public int get tab icon item index, and this requires a return statement. Hopefully that'll, maybe that. Yeah, that's what we wanted. And now it needs a return statement, and it's going to return a number. You want to return the number of whatever block or ID block ID or item ID you want to use for the item for which will represent your tab. So if you don't know what that is, if you know what you want to use but you don't know the block ID, you can just do this. Go right in here, return block, and then grab whatever block you want to use. I'm going to use nether quartz for the sake of this tutorial, and you want to grab the block ID. Okay? And of course we're still showing some errors up here, so what we need to do is get them imported with Control-Shift-O. So now everything should be all okie dokie, and it all clears up. Let's run it just to see what we get, and I'll get back when this is loaded up. Okie dokie, we're loaded up, our mod is in here, and we're going to need to create a new world so that we can see, and it needs to be in creative mode, so we'll just call this test world, something like that, and it needs to be in creative mode in order to see our creative tab. If we were just adding other things we could use, other modes, hardcore or just your standard adventure or whatever it's called, survival. There we are, load the world, and hopefully, there we are, I spawned in the water. How unfortunate. How far underwater? Who knows. I'm just going to get to this bit of land before I start opening stuff up. Oh, I seem to have spawned in an ocean biome. How wonderful. Not only that, I spawned way underwater. I wish I hadn't. It's going to make this a little bit more annoying. And I'm a bit laggy. It's because I'm running so many things. You probably won't be this laggy. But if we open up here, you'll see that up here there's 1 out of 2. You can actually change to the next page of tabs. And this is your mod's name, your tab's item, which happens to be nether quartz for me at the moment. And that is that. You can put your items in here later, but before we do that, we'll need to add some items to the game. So, thanks for watching. I hope you have the best of luck with your coding. Welcome back. I'm a little cupcake here. Continuing where we left off with this creative tabs. We actually don't need to use this anymore for a little while. That block that we used last time was just a placeholder, just a side note, before moving too far forward. We're going to add a block into the game now. So let's just get a little organized. We'll put some little notes. These things don't actually affect the code, but they can be handy to show, what something is or what it does, or I don't know. I'm trying to discern how I want to write this. For instance, we have a creative tab here, so we just put a label of creative tabs over it. And we only have one, so we probably wouldn't even need that. But like for blocks, if you want to keep your blocks separate from your items, then this is pretty, handy to do. Right now we're just working on blocks, so we'll add a public static block. And you've guessed it, this is going to add a new block, and your block is going to be called your block. And it's equal to a new block, or it's actually equal to a new your block, sorry. And we could actually, similarly to the way we did above with your creative tab, I won't change it now, but they're independent of, like, this is different from this. This is an instance of this. This is a class, but it's also an extension of this class. Not important. If you know coding, then that's wonderful, and you understood everything I just said. Let's import block. We want to import from Minecraft, and we need to create a new block. Create new class your block. Alright, so now we have your block. Your block extends block. Cool, just told you that. You have this stub right here that you just generated. If you generated it, that's wonderful. That's what I meant to tell you to do. It takes two parameters. The first is an int, the second is a material. A material is a special kind of class that's in Minecraft. And so if we just go, save this first, go back to your mod name, and it's like, whoa, what? You need to have stuff in here. The first thing you need to have is a block ID. That block ID can be between 2270, or 2268, I think is what it technically is, and 4096, I'm pretty sure. I would just stick with below 40, or before 4000 would be pretty safe. So let's just take a random number. We can have these blocks remapped later, but we'll just take a random number like, we'll just go with 2000, or actually we're going to use those for items, I think. Maybe, I'm not sure. We'll go with 3300, or 33,000. No, 3300, that's right. And that's our block ID. Now we need a material. And we're going to go material dot, and that'll show us all of the materials that we have available. I think there's like 14 of them. There might be more, probably more like 20. From the looks of it, more like 25, 30. We can change what kind of thing this block is. Right now we're just going to, for the sake of this, we're going to make it a block of stone, or rock is actually what it's called. Rock. And this will just apply some stuff like physics and lighting and stuff that you don't really need to worry about yet. We'll get into that later. And it changes a few, presets, but we can actually customize it to make it however we want. In fact, we can add a new material if we want. But we'll get to that later. So now we have a block. Wonderful. We have a block, and it's a block. And before anything else, what we should do is we should load our block, or get our block into the game registry so it can load. So how we do that is we type in game registry dot load block, right? No, register block dot r register block block. We're gonna just select your block, and that'll be that. And it takes from here, this right here. It takes this, not this, as you can see by the capitalization. Now, if you don't like this, you can actually add another thing into the back here to be, or is it in the back there, or is it behind here? I'm not quite sure, but an unlocalized name will actually get rid of that strike through. But we're not going to worry about that, because what we want to do right now is give our block a name. Our block is going to be named in the language registry, right? And we're going to go dot name, add name. The object we want to name is your block, and the name we want to give it is going to be your block. Your block, okay. Your block, and that's that. We just need to remember to put our little semicolon on the end to end the line. And that's wonderful. We have a block that has a name. It doesn't have a texture yet, but that'll be in a different tutorial. Alright, so what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to type in this dot creative tab, or not get, or not, yeah, we're going to go set, see, and that'll bring that up, create creative tab. And we can actually go in and change this from creative tabs to whichever of the vanilla creative tabs you want. There's the miscellaneous, materials, inventory, food, etc. Or what we can do, you would just hit enter for that. Or what we can do is we can go to your mod name, from the package your mod name, or your mod package, whichever, and hit dot, and that'll pop up your your creative tabs as a creative tab, and that's the one you'll want to select to put it into your creative tabs. That's wonderful for this for now. That just adds the block to your creative tabs, and so now we have a block. We have a block that's in a creative tab. We've got a block that's initialized in the game, registered, and registered with a name in the game. And it seems like the only things left are to add a texture and to check to make sure it still all works. So what we can do first before we add a texture, because this is getting a bit long, is we can just run the client, and I'll do the texture next time. Okay, so now we've got this, our mod's in it. I'm probably going to do that on accident every time, out of habit. Unfortunately, hope I don't develop that as a habit. But if we load our world and we hit E to go into our inventory and check your mod name, you have your block in your mod name. Now your block doesn't really have anything about it yet. So, I mean, you can place it, I'm pretty sure, but that's about it. Poof. And then you see how it says missing texture, missing texture? That's because you don't have a texture for this yet. So we'll fix that next time, but thanks for watching. If you feel the need, then go ahead, rate, subscribe, throw me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you don't like it, only if you want to. But until then, I'll see you next time. Good luck.